Sí, vale. Ahorita. No,
This meeting will now come to order. I'd like to call up Sofia Morales.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
Thank you. Recording secretary, will you please take roll?
Ms. Gates.
Present.
Ms. Lopez.
Present.
Ms. Sarmiento.
Present.
Ms. Medford Castañeda.
Present. Thank you. Moving on to item 5, presentations. Item 5A, presentations by Olivewood students. Before we begin, item 5A, we're going to, in closed session, the board voted unanimously to appoint Mr. Steven Barriga as the next Director of Information Technology. Mr. Barriga has over 20 years of experience in technology. Mr. Barriga comes to us from the Banning Unified School District, where he has served as the Innovation Technology Officer. Mr. Barriga has experience as an account executive, IT infrastructure system manager, chief technology officer, and network engineer. He holds a bachelor's degree in networking and communications and is pursuing his master's degree in cybersecurity. Welcome, Mr. Barriga, to the National School District. Our family of National School District. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you so much. That was a warm invitation, a long career there. I appreciate it. I look forward to serving the community, staff, and students of the National City School District. Thank you.
I'd like to invite you to the front and to show these all your firsthand.
I will take that.
We take a lot of pictures in our district. So invite you to the front.
I was afraid of that.
Next, we will now move on to 5A presentation by Olivewood School students. Ms. Falker.
Good evening, Governing Board, Cabinet. Very proud to present tonight. Thank you for the opportunity to share our work around family engagement. At Olivewood, we recognize that strong partnerships between school and home are essential to improving student achievement, strengthening school culture, and ensuring every child feels supported. This year, we focus on building trust, increasing communication, and creating meaningful opportunities for families to engage in their child's learning. We implemented more consistent outreach, expanded family events, and prioritized two-way communication to better understand and respond to family needs. As a result, we have seen increased participation and stronger relationships across our school community. Yesterday, we had our PTA election, and we have a full crew of officers. We didn't even have to recruit, they were ready to serve.
Nice.
Moving forward, we will continue to refine our systems by using family feedback, increasing access to resources, and ensuring engagement opportunities are inclusive and aligned to student learning. Our goal is to sustain and deepen these partnerships so that families remain active, informed, and empowered contributors to their child's success. This year, we had our first Paint and Pizza with Family last Thursday, and families were very, very appreciative because it's another way So it's not always, they said, not academic. It gave him a chance to really connect with a lot of the families of Hollywood. So it's something that we see continuing to do for years to come in different versions. The next one we're planning actually for next year is they get to bring a bag of found trash project. So because we're going to do our recycled art is our next project. I'm very proud to present my Hollywood students right now.
F. Fostering connections. At Hollywood, relationships come first. We greet families by name, celebrate our students daily, and create spaces where everyone feels welcome the moment they step on campus. Our staff makes intentional outreach, sharing good news, checking in, and building trust. When families feel connected, students feel confident and ready to shine. A. Access for all. We believe every family deserves clear, easy access to what matters most. That means communication in home languages, flexible meeting times, and support with technology when needed. Whether it's a quick message, a workshop, or a phone call, we meet families where they are. When access increases, engagement naturally follows. And meaningful engagement. Family engagement at Hollywood is active, joyful, and centered on learning. From literacy nights to math games and classroom celebrations, families experience what their child are learning and how to support them at home. We also listen, gathering feedback and ideas to guide our work. Engagement becomes meaningful when families feel like true partners. I. Involvement in action. At Hollywood, family involvement is visible and alive on our campus. You'll see families volunteering in classrooms, attending events, and participating in workshops alongside their children. From cheering at assemblies to joining learning nights, families are active partners in the school day. When families are present and engaged, students feel supported and proud. L. Learning partnerships. We don't do this work alone. We do it together. Teachers and families partner to support each child's growth. Using data to celebrate progress and plan next steps. We provide simple, practical strategies families can use at home to keep learning going. When school and home are aligned, students thrive. Why? Gathering results together. All this work leads to something powerful. Results we can see and feel. Stronger achievement and better attendance and a positive school climate are outcome of our shared community commitment. We celebrate wins together, big and small, because every step forward matters at Hollywood. When families and staff are in sync, our students soar. At Hollywood, we know family engagement isn't just something we do. It's a part of who we are as a school. When our families, teachers, and students work together, we feel supported, safe, and ready to grow and learn.
Together we will keep learning, and shining, because when Hollywood is in sync, every one of us can succeed.
Let me tell you something. They're actually reading the parts that were not their own. They had to pivot because one of their fourth one was running late. So I had to tell them, okay, this is what we do, right? Next man up. And they did such a fantastic job.
Great job, students.
And we didn't plan the red, they just decided.
Because
Because they're in sync.
So, we know that it's a big deal for you to come and talk in front of us. And we know that it's not always something people are comfortable with, right? So we want to say thank you for taking the time, for having your families come, and especially on a night you're talking about family, to have everybody here. So from the board to you, we have a certificate to remember tonight. One of your adults is gonna put it some way or somewhere and bring it out when you graduate from high school. And be like, do you feel like? No, you do it, okay. It's what we do. But we also have a book for you, and it's written by, the author is one of our National School District kids from a while back. So his name is Matt de la Pena. You might have heard about him, might have read other books about him. But we like giving books out that are written by people who used to be our kids. So maybe you do that in the future. So I'm gonna give those to you first, and then I get to read your names to everyone, all right? So they know who you are. And since it's family night, two things. I'm wondering if when I call the name, can the family stand up so that we know who belongs to who, whose child? And then we always take pictures, and it really feels like we need to make sure you're all up there for the around the family sign too. So Anthony wasn't able to be here. Not yet, okay. But he practiced and
He did.
prepared,
He
so we'll
did.
make sure that he gets that. And if I miss it, I can take it, so I just can't say it correctly. Leah Sanchez. Very cool. Alia Manalo.
We're gonna have you come to the front.
To the front for pictures.
Yeah.
Sofia Morales. All right. The families join us up front. Yeah. Principal, your family. Here, you want to hold this? Want to hold this letter?
Wanna
We
grab a
can
letter?
do it in stages too. That's okay.
Oh, here it is.
Grab a letter.
Yes. Good. I'm so glad.
That's
It's all right.
Come on.
That's all right.
Come on, come on in.
Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze.
Okay.
We should stand up.
We'll take a big picture of them, of everybody.
You don't wanna grab the letter? Grab the letter.
Oh, yeah. Your family letters are from
Oh,
this.
you wanna hold up the family letters? Anthony, you wanna hold it up?
I need it, I need it now.
There it is.
There we go.
I wanna get another picture. Hold on, guys. I was supposed to present this one, guys, sorry. Come on.
Alicia, come on. Miss Babadia.
I can be your tall person
Thank you. Miss, come on. Come on, Ariana. Miss Ace. Celia, come on. Celia, come on.
Yes, please stand. Okay, got it.
Sorry, guys. My bad. I'm sorry.
Oh, lo puse al revés. Habría que tomártelo así. Pónese, ponlo así. Ay, sorry. Ahí va. Rambaran mis chuchas. Nada de nervios tuvo.
Item 5B is to recognize Rosa Bautista, Olivewood School at the National School District in sync volunteer. Ms. Eleanor Calvin.
Good evening once more. Our good evening board. Our very, as a first year principal, very supportive cabinet. Olivewood is proud to recognize Rosa Bautista as our National School District in Sync Volunteer of the Month. As a dedicated parent of both a 6th grader and a 4th grader at Olivewood, Mrs. Bautista exemplifies what it means to be in sync with our school community, showing up, staying connected, and working together to support every child. Over the years, she has generously given her time and voice by actively participating in multiple committees, including PTA, PLAC, and the PBIS committee. Her consistent presence at parent events reflects her deep commitment to being in sync with our staff, families, and students, always finding ways to contribute and collaborate. If you get a chance, ask Mrs. Bautista what she does every day for Olivewood and its students, families, and staff. I cannot say it because it may not be kosher. What makes Mrs. Bautista especially inspiring is her unwavering involvement despite language barriers. She reminds us that being in sync is not about speaking the same language, it's about sharing the same heart, purpose, and dedication to our students. Her action speaks volumes and her presence strengthens the unity of our school. Thank you, Mrs. Bautista, for being such a powerful example of what it means to be in sync. Your dedication, partnership, and care uplift our entire Olivewood community. We're better together because of you. I'm going to read the last part in Spanish, or can I read the whole thing in Spanish for Mrs. Bautista? Thank you. Nos sentimos muy orgullosos de reconocer a Rosa Bautista como nuestra voluntaria des mes in sync del National School District. Como madre dedicada de un estudiante de 6º grado y otro de 4 grado en Olivewood. Rosa ejemplifica lo que significa estar en sync con nuestra comunidad escolar, presenta, conectada y trabajando en conjunto para apoyar a cada estudiante. A lo largo de los años ha brindado generosamente su tiempo y sus participando activamente en varios comités, incluyendo PTA, ILAC y PBIS. Su presencia constante en los eventos para padres refleja su profundo compromiso de estar en sync con nuestro personal, las familias y los estudiantes, siempre buscando maneras de contribuir y colaborar. Si tiene la oportunidad, pregúntale a la señora Bautista qué hace cada día por Olivewood y por sus estudiantes, familias y personal. Lo que hace a Rosa especialmente inspiradora es su participación constante a pesar de las barreras del idioma. Ella nos recuerda que estar en sync no se trata de hablar el mismo idioma, sino de compartir el mismo corazón, propósito y dedicación hacia nuestros estudiantes. Sus acciones dicen mucho y su presencia fortalece la unidad de nuestra escuela. This is from your Olivewood family. We love you and thank you. We also have her since she's a big part, right? Once an owl, always an owl. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hola, buenas tardes a todos. Me siento muy orgullosa de estar aquí con todos ustedes. No niego que el no hablar el idioma que aquí hablan ustedes me hace sentir chiquita, pero no se me olvidan mis raíces de donde vengo, lo cual comparto el español con mucho orgullo. Jamás me imaginé esto, pero les agradezco al distrito, a la directora, lo cual felicito también por su español tan bonito. Querer se puede.
We're practicing together.
Y pues como madre trato siempre de brindar lo mejor de mí misma. Mi preparación académica fue muy poca, pero siempre quiero que mis hijos se superen. Y pues nuevamente gracias aquí también a Miss Delaida por su apoyo. Tengo a varias maestras que se han quedado aquí en mi corazón y pues gracias por todo.
Señora Bautista, de parte de la Junta del Distrito, te queremos dar las gracias. Muchas gracias por ser una bendición a nuestra comunidad, por todo su amor que ha dado, que continúa a dar a través de estos años y le apreciamos mucho. Y le queremos dar este reconocimiento a usted.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias. Y
Muchas gracias.
Cafecito.
También, claro que sí, ven amor. Con permiso.
Señora
Let's hold on.
Come
on.
He was my fourth grade student.
Her third grade.
Yeah, third and fourth.
She wants you to join Sayed.
Siempre me estás apoyando, mi Celi.
Se lo merece.
Item 5C is to recognize Summer Bissell, Joseph Teacher, Community Schools, Ira Harbison School as the National School District District Employee of the Month for May 2026.
Good evening, members of the board, executive cabinet, and Dr. Brady. My name is Courtney Quinn. I'm the proud principal of Ira Harbison. Tonight, I have the pleasure of recognizing the District Employee of the Month for May, Ms. Summer Bissell. Ms. Bissell is truly deserving of being recognized as the District Employee of the Month for May. over the past 10 years, as she has served over the past 10 years with the National School District. Summer has made a lasting impact on students, staff, and families through her dedication, leadership, and heart for service. Throughout her career, she has served as a teacher at Las Palmas and Kimball, worked as a TOSA in the district office, and currently serves as the TOSA for community schools at Ira Harbison. In every role, Summer has consistently gone above and beyond to support others and strengthen the school communities she serves. At Ira Harbison, Summer has become an essential part of our school family. She is a true team player who is hardworking, motivated, knowledgeable, and deeply committed to student success. Summer is a data wizard who uses her expertise to support systems that practice and positively impact students and staff alike. But more importantly, she leads with compassion and genuinely holds the heart of our school. She greets students each morning with warmth and positivity, helping every child feel welcome and valued from the moment they arrive on campus. Although Summer comes from a lower grade teaching background, she has stepped out of her comfort zone and built incredible rapport with our older students as well. Watching her form meaningful relationships with students across all grade levels has been inspiring. The staff, students, and parents at Ira Harbison absolutely love and appreciate her because she makes everyone feel supported, heard, and cared for. And on a personal note, Summer has made me a better principal through her partnership, her guidance, and her support. We've had a lot of fun this year. Running school-wide events, hosting evening events, and building systems that will continue to help our students become global citizens. Her professionalism, insight, and dedication have had a tremendous impact on our school community. And while we're incredibly sad to let you know that she is leaving the National School District due to her husband Nathan's military retirement, we are also deeply grateful for his service and her support of him. I just wish I met Summer sooner. Summer's contributions to Ira Harbison and the National School District will not be forgotten. She has left a lasting legacy of kindness, collaboration, and commitment to students and families. We are beyond grateful for everything she has done, and she will be greatly missed by all of us at Ira. Tonight's recognition is so well deserved. Congratulations, Ms. Bizzle. We will miss you.
Well, I promised I wouldn't cry, but here we go. I'm honored to have been in National for the past 10 years. As a military spouse, you're supposed to move around every couple of years. I came here, I was supposed to be here for 3 years. Resigned, the board approved my resignation, and a couple of days before our movers came, my husband's orders were canceled, we stayed. LeAngela was the first person I called. Was I gonna get a job back? And then we're at 10 years now. So this was supposed to be just a small flip in life, and it ended up becoming so incredibly meaningful. Sorry. But it was my honor to be a part of this community for the past 10 years and to hear such kind things and to hear that I'm leaving a positive legacy behind. I just want to say thank you for giving me that opportunity.
I'll try not to cry. On behalf of the board of the National School District, I'm presenting you this Excellence Award, the Employee of the Month Award, recognizing your noteworthy contributions to our children and families in the National School District. And along with that, we got this really cool pen and pencil set. These are new because we didn't used to get them. I kind of like them. Get that too to remember us by. And we just want to thank you for your contributions. I know that I'm sorry to see you go, but someone else is going to be advantageous in getting you. Are you going to continue teaching?
Not teaching. I want to serve as a military family school liaison and help families navigate the school systems and military life.
Awesome. Great. And thank you for your service as well. Come on, everybody. Family too, school family too. Okay. Anybody else? Cheeseburger. Thank you.
Before we move on to the business of the agenda, we're gonna ask our last Oliver student that was not able to present to come up and present his the last portion of the presentation that he was not able to
He
present.
actually has the last part. He has 3 parts. Anthony, are you ready? Of course. You want to all do it together because the last part, right? So,
If his team wants to.
you wanna do it on here? I think you're gonna do it. Okay, ready?
Oliver, we know family engagement isn't just something we do. It's part of who we are as a school. When our families, teachers, and students work together, we feel supported, safe, and ready to learn and grow. Together, we will keep growing, learning, and shining. Because when all of it is in sync, every one of us can succeed.
He was our finale.
Thank you. Do you want to come up and take your picture as well?
Yes, he was able to get the picture, so we can just the. But how about your
How was the
student?
4 of you? Leah?
The 4 students who want to join.
Awesome.
Sophie, come. Papers. Perfect.
Yes.
There we go.
Beautiful. I was gonna have him do it in front of the school.
Okay, one more pictures.
Thank you. You wanna turn around and say thank you? Thank you to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice job.
Thank you so much. Great job. Item 6 is public communication. Before we move on to the business portion of the agenda, parents, children, if you guys need to leave at this time, we would not be offended, but we would also welcome you to stay. So before I move on, you guys are more than welcome to go ahead and go. I'll give you a second if you need to get up. So now it's your chance.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for being here and congratulations to everyone. You're more than welcome to stay.
Is this for the no? I was. Is this for the to vote for the camp, 6th grade camp or no?
It's a presentation. It's on the agenda.
I'm the only one. I guess so.
Maybe we're gonna be a dinner.
Item 6, public communication. Public communications provides the public with an opportunity to address the board regarding an item on the agenda or other topic. Anyone wishing to address the board shall submit a request for oral communications card. Cards are available near the entrance to the boardroom and are to be submitted to the recording secretary. A member of the public who wishes to address the board on any such matter is limited to 3 minutes for one matter and up to 5 minutes for all closed and open session matters. There should be a limit of 20 minutes for any such matter unless such time limit is waived by the majority vote of the board. Members of the public may not yield any time to other speakers. No board action can be taken. Do we have any speakers? Item 7, we have, Ms. Gates? Okay. There is a request from staff to pull item 7C for further review. This item may be brought back for a future meeting.
11C. Okay, I heard 7.
Yes, 11C.
I would like that one pulled as well for many reasons, so please.
So 11C. I will second that motion.
Point of clarification, what is the current motion?
To pull item 11C.
I will move to approve the agenda as long as 11C is clearly pulled. It is a discussion that we need to have further on behalf of our students and our teachers, for sure.
So to approve the agenda with the motion to exclude item 11C.
Yes.
So Ms. Gates made the motion, and I will second that motion. We can vote.
Point of clarification. Sir, that is what you're hoping to hear about? Or pull it, we're removing it from the agenda tonight, so we won't end up discussing it tonight.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
all right.
Okay. Yes. As long as it passes.
Okay, good. So we don't have to vote, no more voting.
They're gonna vote to pull it. We're gonna vote to take it off the table tonight,
Okay,
right now.
all
It
right.
is our vote,
We haven't, we're in the process of
removing it from the things to talk about.
Okay,
so we need you to make a motion.
I did,
It's not in-
and you seconded.
You haven't.
Oh, sorry, that part.
Please vote.
Do you want to leave your phone number?
yeah.
Okay, you can leave it in the group.
Thank
Are
you.
you gonna want to say?
I was just like, you guys kicking me out. I'm just joking, no, you guys have a good one. God bless.
You can stay here as long as you like.
God bless.
Thank you. Okay. Item 8 is to approve consent routine items of business. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be acted upon in one action by the board. It is understood that the superintendent has recommended approval of these items. There will be no discussion prior to the time the board votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent agenda. All items approved by the board will be deemed considered in full and adopted as recommended. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Sarmiento, a second by Ms. Lopez. Please vote. Any discussion? No. Please vote. Thank you. Item 9 is policy regulations and the bylaws. Item 9A is to adopt board policies and administrative regulations as listed on attached checklist. And good evening, board members and members of the public. These board policies and administrative regulations were first presented for review on April 8th, 2026, board meeting, on the board meeting. They are part of our ongoing partnership with the California School Board Association, which helps ensure our policies stay up to date with current laws and regulations. District staff, including the executive cabinet, carefully reviewed each update and customized them to match National School District practices. The board also spent many hours reviewing each proposed change. Most of the updates reflect legal or regulatory changes, not changes in how we run the district. Since the first reading, the board and public had a chance to review the updates and ask questions. No questions were received. These policies are now ready for adoption. Once adopted, they will be posted on the district website at NSD Policies. We will continue to bring forward updates at future meetings to keep all policies current. I do want to make a note, or I don't know if we can bring something to attention. Okay, so can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Gates and a second by Ms. Lopez. Do we have any discussion? Okay, I have discussion. I know that we have made an adjustment to our compensation, and we have board policy 9011 and 9250 and as it relates to our regular and special board meetings. And I think we need to address how we report or at least make note to when we are absent. And because it makes, there's an adjustment to our previous practices in terms of when we are absent. We are docked when we are for special and regular board meetings. So maybe we need to make note and have all of us be aware when we are absent. Because if we are approving an MOU when we are absent, we should be aware what the reasoning is for, because we have to approve each other's absence. So if we don't know, how could we approve why we're absent? In addition to that, we've not been docked for special board meetings. And I know that I understand we should have read all of our board policies and the changes, but we need to be ensured that we know this, so there's just no surprises. So,
in addition to that, maybe we can include the fact that to let the rest of the board or whomever know as soon as possible, not wait till the last minute to share that we're gonna miss a meeting when it was known in advance.
I concur. Yeah. So if we know ahead of time, yes, I agree.
So is this something that we are wanting to add and articulate specifically in board policy, or would this be something that would go under board bylaws?
Maybe in our handbook, I know that we've had some workshops, and this is something new that we've done. This happened after a workshop, so maybe we can do that at the change of guards. Because I think that I found out at the 11th hour for this change, for me doing this. I'm always prepared, but if it were to have been known ahead of time, out of courtesy, I think that we should be able to give each other the heads up. But not just that, if we are approving each other's MOU and we don't know each other's reasoning without providing any
HIPAA laws or anything like that?
Yeah. I think, and respect each other's reasoning, but nonetheless, we are approving it and then with each other. So whether it could be a form or and also not fighting a Brown Act either for any reason, we should be communicating properly. So, Ms. Gates.
I think also this is something that we owe to our community. So if we are going to be out, and we know we are going to be out, that it's possible to make that quick statement, or that even if it's the day of, that the president maybe has the right to say, you know, Michelle Gates is out for illness, or Michelle Gates is out for a family wedding, or anything like that, but or just Michelle Gates is out, but something that we owe to the community because we have been selected by them to do this job, and to just not show up, I guess doesn't feel right to me. I feel like I owe that clarification. I think that they understand that we get sick and that we have things that conflict, but it
For us to be as transparent as possible, and the community deserves it, right? I mean, obviously with respect.
Well, we have also had nights that we have come down to 3 of us and had people who are sitting at the dais really, really struggling to get through for their own illnesses or sicknesses. And if we knew, like, they're just things that we should know earlier. It shouldn't be that we're hoping that we get quorum. We should know ahead of time that someone is unable to be present, so that we also can, if we were to have to call up a meeting, that we know that there should be, as much as is possible, no absolute emergency calls. Yeah.
4 hours in advance.
Right.
So things like that we need to be abiding by as well. So again, if that goes in board policy or board bylaws versus policy, I'm not sure where that belongs, but I appreciate you bringing it.
Yeah, I think that would be something that we need to put into place.
Also, if we could designate who needs to be informed. Is it the superintendent, board president, or do we follow a certain chain of command, not just tell Joe Schmo, the custodian, or whoever, you know?
That's what I'm trying to do now.
Yeah, it's important to. I made up a name to protect the innocent.
Yeah, so I think that's what we need to put in place, especially again, because we have those board policies. This is changing, this is something new. We had put something in place prior to, and this is something that is now changed. And it's not something that we can change, it's part of the law that has set before us. So, okay. So with that being said, we have I'm sorry.
Yes, I just had a quick question. I know you mentioned that for special meetings, we are also docked. I didn't recall that policy because I actually never seen a resolution about a special meeting, so.
It's actually, I have it brought up on my laptop. Did you have it up? It's on board bylaw 9250. 9250. It's a revision.
Oh.
So that's why I wanted to bring that to our attention. Deduction for missed board meetings applied to meetings including regular, special, and emergency meetings per Ed Code 35120. It didn't read that before, and that's a revision for this time around.
Okay, so after we adopt it today.
Yes.
Oh, okay, so,
Yeah.
I've never been absent, but.
Yeah, and then that's why I wanted to bring it to the attention of the board, because in the past, it was not something that was put in the board bylaw. We just made,
An arbitrary decision.
Yeah, and now it's not our decision.
Right.
Yeah, because we were having a lot of board meetings for just different trainings and so on. Now it's, okay. Any other questions, discussions? Okay, so we have a motion by Ms. Gates and a second by Ms. Lopez. Please vote.
Item passes unanimously.
Thank you. Item 10A is to approve employment agreement with Dr. Laura Filial, Superintendent of the National School District.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay. Sorry. The Brown Act requires a board, prior to taking final action on an employment agreement, to orally report a summary of recommended salary schedules, or compensation paid in the form of fringe benefits for local agency executives. Dr. Filial, as our next superintendent, is a local agency executive, and a proposed contract is before us this evening. The proposed contract will be for a 3-year term to run from July 1, 2026 through June 30, 2029. Dr. Filial will receive an annual salary of $245,000 and a $2,500 annual doctoral stipend. The district will contribute to a 403B account selected by Dr. Filial, which will gradually vest over the term of the contract. Dr. Filial will receive the same health and welfare benefits package that is provided to the certificated management employees, and the district will pay up to the maximum for family coverage. Dr. Filial will also receive 23 vacation days, 12 sick days, and $275 mileage allowance. $275 mileage allowance, to be specific. Reimbursement of other business expenses and payment for membership in 2 professional organizations and 1 local service organization. Okay, having said that, the motion by Ms. Sarmiento and a second by Ms. Lopez. Okay. Yeah. Any discussion? No? Please vote.
Item passes unanimously.
Sorry, we should have cleared the room afterwards. Would you like to say a few words?
Again, I just want to reiterate how grateful I am and how very excited I am, and really just excited to continue my deep commitment to this community, to the students and the staff. Thank you.
Okay, item 10B is to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting held on April 22nd, 2026. Okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Motion by Ms. Lopez and a second by Ms. Gates. And since Ms. Sarmiento was absent, you have to abstain.
I already did.
Okay. I can't see it on my side. And since Ms. Avalos is not here, we still have quorum, so we're good.
Item passes 3 yes, 1 abstain.
Thank you. Item 10C is to approve the minutes of the special board meeting held on April 29, 2026. Can I get a motion?
I'll move to approve that one.
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Ms. Sarmiento and a second by Ms. Gates. Any discussion?
Thank you to everyone who came.
Thank you. Please vote.
Item passes unanimously.
Thank you. Okay. But not by better people. Item 10D, we will wait for Ms. Sarmiento to, if she was absent, she has to recuse herself. Okay. Item 10D is to adopt resolution 25-26.43 regarding absence of board member Ms. Alma Sarmiento due to illness. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion. Second.
Ms. Gates and Ms. Lopez for the second. Any discussion? Please vote.
Item passes 3 yes, 1 recused.
Thank you. Item 11A, presentation on district healthcare program. Dr. Filia?
Yes, this evening, the team has developed a presentation for the board that will provide an overview of our existing health services offered to our students. At the April 8th meeting, there was a request from Trustee Gates for a presentation regarding our health services program and our partnership with Radies. This evening, we'll be able to provide some responses to some of those questions that'll lead into a conversation with the board as we discuss our next steps. And so I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Dr. Vargas.
Good evening, board and executive cabinet. Thank you again for the opportunity to present on our school health services program. And again, Trustee Gates, thank you so much for the questions posed on April 8th's board meeting. That was really guiding us for our current presentation. So what we will be covering today is going over the questions that were posed by the trustees in regards to our current state, the supports that we are currently receiving with our current partnership from Radies. We will also be discussing the latest Radies proposal in terms of staffing for our health program. And then our hope is that we are able to enter into a discussion after we present the facts and the figures that we've collected to answer your questions, so that we can get guidance from the board on next steps. So really, to start off, I just want to acknowledge that NSD has a long-standing history in partnership with Radies Children's Hospital. And in doing the research, we realized that NSD has been doing community schools all this time, since the early 90s. And so with the beginning of the establishment of the National City Collaborative in the early 1990s, and Kimball Family Resource Center, we've been engaging in these community supports and services. Part of that collaboration has been with Radies Children's Hospital. So back in 1996, that was the establishment of a partnership with Radies. At that time, they actually had grant funding that allowed for the district to receive 8 hours per week of school health coordinator time. So as part of the collaborative that had been established in the 90s, they were able to bring in that support for us. Additionally, the longstanding partnership that the district has had with Radies has resulted in some really long-lasting, meaningful impact for the district, including, as we know, the COVID pandemic. They were instrumental in us navigating those requirements and supporting the community, and as well as their support with Project Adam, making our district a heart-safe district. So great partnership that we have had with Radies for quite a long time. So what is our current staffing and what are the duties that are part of the staffing from Radies? So currently we have one registered credentialed school nurse, and you'll see that our CSN is a registered credentialed school nurse. We have one supervisor. That supervisor oversees all health services. In addition to developing individual health plans, they can also administer medication, train and delegate support staff, and serves as the health consultant for IEPs and 504-teams. And they also provide clinical supervision of the Radies staff. In addition to the registered credentialed school nurse supervisor, we have 2 additional credentialed school nurses. They themselves are also able to develop individual health plans, administer medications, train and delegate to support staff, and they also serve as consultants for IEPs and 504 teams. In addition to the credentialed school nurses, Rady's also provides 10 school health assistants, one at each school site, and they are the staff that support the day-to-day health needs of the schools. So this can range from first aid to, they could actually be called out to playgrounds if there's an accident of some sort. So they are the person day in and day out, Monday through Friday at our school sites. In addition, we also have one licensed vocational nurse. So sometimes student needs require that a medically trained personnel conduct those procedures. And under the supervision of the credentialed school nurses, that LVN could engage in those various activities. So what are the current needs in terms of our school health services? So what we have in front of us are just a really quick snapshot of some of the figures that we were able to pull up for our current school year. So in terms of the number of 504 plans, we have 101 students who have 504 plans. And again, there's an asterisk for this item because not all 504s require health services. So it could be for a variety of different reasons. Same for IEPs. We have 895 students with IEPs as of yesterday, I believe. And again, not all those IEPs require that level of health support. In terms of allergies, we have about 6% of our student population who have some form of an allergy. They could be mild to extreme. Diabetes, we have less than 1% who have a diagnosed type 1 or type 2 diabetes. We have about 1% of students who have either seizures or epilepsy, and they have a seizure care plan in place. And we have about 9%, a little bit shy of 9% of our student population with asthma. And so again, these are just a quick snapshot of some of the health conditions. Obviously, there's many more health conditions that some of our students experience. In terms of school office health visits, as of the 8th of this month, we've had over 31,000 visits to the health office. So if we do the math with this number of school days, that averages about 20 visits per day across all 10 school sites. And again, that could be for various reasons, from, hey, I need a Band-Aid, to a head injury protocol. It could be a procedure that's part of an individual health plan. So the range of need can vary across those health visits. When we took a little bit closer at the acuity of needs, we were able to find that we have 123 students with health plans. Those health plans can include asthma, can include treatments for type 1 or type 2 diabetes, seizure disorders, allergies, feeding tubes, tracheostomy needs, or various other chronic health conditions. But we are able to report that we have 123 students with individual health plans. 6 students do require one-to-one support for health reasons, and that could be just because of their various health needs. And 15 students require daily procedures. So when we say daily procedures, this could be as simple as, hey, go to, could be the evaluation of a feeding tube. That could be done once or maybe twice a day, not necessarily needing a full-time support by one of our health trained staff. We were also able to pull some data in terms of the number of medications or prescriptions that are managed. We were able to find that 295 prescriptions are currently managed by the Rady's Health team. Again, this does not necessarily mean that we have 295 students that take medications, as one student can take multiple medications. And feel free to stop me at any point if there's clarifying questions. Trustee Gates, I believe you asked the question on the 8th of April regarding the frequency of 911 calls, if I'm not mistaken. And so what we have here is a historical snapshot of our 911 calls. Again, some of these calls may not necessarily be health related, and it may not even be student related. It could be for various reasons, but we are able to report that as of this school year, we have a total of 23 phone calls to 911. And you can see that in the previous 2 school years, that number ranged between 46 and 56. Okay, so what is our current staffing, the contract needs as of this school year? So we have a total of 3 agreements with Rady's, as you see here, all totaling about 1.1 million. These 3 contracts provide support for our health services, our preschool health services, as well as our vision and hearing. The focus of today's discussion is really going to be tailored or focused on the health services and the preschool health services. So we're going to be tossing a lot of numbers at you guys. So currently, this is what we have contracts in place for with Rady's. So we recently received communication. I believe the board also received a communication from Rady's. There was a law that was passed. I believe it was AB 500 or 800. I'm not too sure on the exact law, but that required healthcare workers to receive a minimum salary or at least increases. So if we were to maintain our current staffing levels, this would be the cost for the next school year. And there's a big asterisk with this because there's some additional information that we will be discussing. But based off of that law and the requirements that Rady's has to abide by, the cost to us would be over 1.2 million, keeping the current staffing as is. Okay? Now, we've been notified by Rady's that the level of nursing support that we currently have is not sustainable for them moving forward. So if the staffing was to remain the same, this would be the cost. However, Rady's has told us that they're shifting their staffing model, and they are proposing additional FTEs or full-time equivalents for our nursing staff. And this is the proposed staffing that Rady's has made to us. This total cost would be close to 1.9 million. And so their proposal seeks to have 5 registered credentialed school nurses as opposed to our current 2. And we would continue to maintain our 10 school health assistants with the registered credentialed school nurse supervision. And if you see that the 2 numbers highlighted, the 1.1 million plus the 913,000, if you add them up, they don't add up to 200,000. The reason for that is that there is some overlap. These are 2 different options that Rady's has proposed, and there is some overlap. So if we were to adopt both of the proposals, that I believe it's 120,000 supervision could be provided by the registered credentialed school nurses on your right-hand side. So based off of the proposal from Rady's, we're looking at about a 1.9 million cost.
Question.
Yes.
What is their rationale for the changes?
So they're citing various needs, including acuity, meaning that there's just a higher level of health needs, number of special education students, and I believe they're also they're citing enrollment numbers, and they're citing recommendations from the CDE in terms of ratios.
Even though our enrollment has decreased dramatically over the years?
It has decreased, correct, but they are citing CDE recommended ratios.
Now, would it be advantageous for us to go with, say, San Ysidro Health Center or one of the other organizations?
That's something that we would potentially be able to discuss based off of today's presentation.
But that's not the only thing. The change for the LVN is a $15 an hour increase. And for the RCSNs, it's $61 to $110, which is a $49 increase. So that is also, that's not
Like, that's almost doubling pay for one.
And I believe that's a mandated cost per the recent legislation. So if you guys, as you know, there's been legislation that has passed that sets minimum compensation for various workers in the labor force. This is one of those impacts.
It'll keep my comment around in my head. Because, the places your brain goes. So, but they are also saying that they're saying we need more people. And also the increase to the individual cost is substantially higher.
Correct. So.
Okay.
This poses a question, but what are our other options? As Trustee Sarmiento mentioned, there are other options out there. One of them being, yes.
Oh. Yes, this is for Dr. Cochran. Is this from our unrestricted, or where is this funding coming from?
Right, so, I appreciate you asking that question, and I appreciate you being laser focused on our unrestricted general fund, Ms. Lopez. That's absolutely the same conversations that we've been having, right? Is specifically, to be really clear, if this was paid for from our unrestricted general fund, we would be taking that amount that we board resolved to reduce, and we would be reducing further in order to fit something like this in. Now, that's not 100% what we need to do at this time. We have some restricted funding that will be coming in between now and next year. Of course, some of it is in the governor's May revise that we'll be attending in just about a week, but not all of it, right? There are other restricted funding sources, like, for example, our Ma Moments, right? That we haven't received full, projections for what we're going to be receiving this year. What I would say is whereas we don't have a specific answer for you at the moment because of the way that, one, the budget is developing, and two, because some decisions are still being made about next year, and because we're still in talks with Radies about what potentially the model could look like. Your concern over the unrestricted general fund is exactly appropriate, and also where our minds are at as we look at this information too.
So where was it paid out of then, from this previous, or from this current?
Yes, so it has been paid out from Ma BOP in the past, and that is, those are restricted dollars that we receive. And we've been able to cover the contract for this past year out of that without any additional coming from anywhere else. So you are correct that with a substantially higher, contract value, that it could begin to encroach on our general fund or another restricted fund that was eligible to use that for.
Yes, I'm curious, Dr. Vargas, how much time do we have from the time the Radies contract expires to do the research into these other healthcare organizations?
I believe the contract does end on June 30th. And so I know that does play into any future planning and discussions, and I think we'll be able to possibly come up with some alternatives, programming ideas. Obviously, the board's discussion is going to be instrumental to that. So we have some options that we could discuss, but time is of the essence.
Could we do like a combination of 3 different healthcare organizations, or because Radies Healthcare stands to lose a lot of money if we back out altogether, and I would think that would be a concern to them.
Yes, and I think there's various options, and I think you're on the right track. We've been having discussions, and we're trying to figure out how can we continue the same level of support for our community while still being fiscally conservative. And so we may be able to piecemeal a program together, but we would require some time to build that program. And so I think at this point, there are several options on the table, and we are gonna need guidance from the board on next steps.
Good luck.
Thank you. So one of those options could be creating a similar district direct hire health program. And so what we could consider is that, is doing that option. And so what we're gonna propose right now, and please let me know if I need to pause.
I think you should finish. Okay, pause.
We take a recess.
Sorry. Yeah.
There's a distraction over your shoulder.
Oh, yeah. I feel that energy.
Take a brief
recess. Can we take a?
Can we grab them, take a 10-minute recess?
They can come in. Okay. You can come in.
Kids. Yeah,
Oh, they all.
You have to bring the numbers.
Oh, wow.
Come around.
Numbers.
I'll borrow some of yours. Are you on the last agenda item or? We'll wait for you after mom. Happy birthday.
Okay. I have no control over these.
Biobreak.
Michelle's do the fireworks right now.
After all these years, it's the only one they've interrupted, so I guess that's a good thing.
We'd like to put this in your in your packet tonight as we were working on it. There's been a lot of moving parts, so just make sure you have it. With apologies. This is not enough. Yeah.
reconvene our meeting.
Thank you. Were there any pending questions? I believe.
No,
No.
we were just handed, the letter from Radies dated, April 13th.
Yes. So on the heels of the request that was made by Trustee Gates on April 8th, we subsequently received that letter explaining the proposed staffing changes and contracting changes that Radies is proposing. And so that letter really describes what you're seeing here on the screen in terms of the proposed staffing that is based off of the increased acuity, the increase in special education numbers, and our enrollment with the CDE recommendation of RN to student ratios.
In reading this, I'm a wording person. We project 5 FTE RNs would be required. If full service nursing is not a viable option, we will allow the district to elect to pay for only services. So basically, it's you will take all of one or not, like, they are basically saying we must take the 5
if we choose to continue with them.
if we can choose to continue with them, that we don't have the allowance to say, well, what I'm a wording person, and I realize that I realize that it's their right to say or do or choose those things, but I don't know that I appreciate that it's not a discussion with us.
In the past, we've had discussions as opposed to we're told this is what it is, right?
It's not. Yeah, Barbara Ryan, who's a board member in Santee, used to work overseeing the Radies partnership for many, many years. She has since retired from Radies, and there's new leadership, and they're reviewing their systems just as we're reviewing our systems. And so what we tried to do is follow up with some phone calls. I know that Dr. Filia and Dr. Cochran have had many conversations back and forth with Ashley Palomar, and trying to get clarity around exactly what the wording on this letter means. And we are attempting through this presentation to kind of outline the answers to your questions, but here is exactly where we're bridging over to this letter to show you what they're proposing, what that might mean through our clarifications, what that might look like in terms of what if they were our own staff? I think that was part of your question, Trustee Gates. And then open it up at the end for discussions on what should our next steps be. And so we're almost there in just a few slides, and maybe we can kind of dig in a little bit further. And I know Dr. Cochran is ready to start talking numbers. I can see him sitting ready to go. But maybe we can let Dr. Vargas get through the next couple of slides, and then that will give us a more enriched background for that conversation.
Thank you, Dr. Brady. So as going back to the question of what are our options, knowing that we received this letter, there's a proposed staffing change and change in the structure of the contract, we have to ask the question, well, what would be the potential cost of bringing it in-house? So what I will
I apologize.
No worries.
Not always. That has been off all day. I truly do apologize. I have no idea.
These next few slides that we will be presenting have a big asterisk on it, meaning that we're using current salary schedules to estimate potential costs. Obviously, we would need to negotiate the salary and the job descriptions for these positions since we don't have them. So in this particular slide, you see the lowest step for a school health assistant, a classified position that we would need to negotiate with our partners from CSEA. And that ranges from a low of about 88,000 a year to a high of about 121,000. Knowing that we currently have 10 health techs, one at each school site, we can do the math to then extrapolate that cost. But again, these salary schedules and would need to be negotiated as part of the collective bargaining. Pivoting over to our school nurses, using our current certificated salary schedule. Yes.
Does this include health and welfare benefits?
Yes, trustee Gates, as well as fringe benefits. So when you see it says position cost, that is
Making sure.
everything together, the cost of the position.
Okay. Thank you.
Similarly with our school nurses, using our certificated salary schedule, we are looking at a potential lowest step cost of about 96,000, ranging up to 183,000. And again, this would have to be negotiated with our partners from NCETA to develop the job description and negotiate the salary schedule. And then we are also proposing potentially, or for consideration at least, a supervisory level, administrative level, registered credential school nurse that would need to be in place to provide that supervision. We're looking at a low step cost of about 180,000, ranging up to a highest step of 233,000. This is a certificated management position. And the reason we are proposing this is because we need to have that supervision of the health team. And so that would need to be a management.
And just a point of clarification, this is just exact comparison to what Rady's has right now, not a visual proposal of any sort. This would be, if we replaced the supervisor, this would be our coordinator. If we replace the health techs with our classified position, if we replace the nurses with our certificated salaries, this is what the numbers would look like.
Would it be possible to bring Barbara Ryan back and ask her to serve as a consultant on our behalf? Just to go over the numbers and tell us what do we need and what are they saying that we need that we may not. Just a thought.
And so if we were to take these projections and propose a continuum of potential costs, we are looking at potentially at the lower end, a total cost of 1.2 million to a high cost of 1.8 million. And this would be inclusive of 1 coordinator, 2 nurses, and the 10 health techs. Any questions regarding the cost comparison?
Would it be helpful if we were to take this to our state governments and ask them for some assistance? Because I'm sure every district is dealing with these kinds of concerns and expenses.
Well, perfect timing, as always, Miss Trustee Sarmiento. We did a little bit of some research on our neighboring district models, and I believe if it was Trustee Betancourt Castañeda who had posed this question back in April 8th. So we were able to survey the local districts here in South County. We looked at the staffing models, the sizes, any other pertinent information for various districts. We surveyed South Bay Union. We surveyed San Ysidro School District, Chula Vista Elementary, as well as Sweetwater. We noted the school enrollment, how many staff they have in terms of credential school nurses, any health tech options that they had, health manager, and their school assignments. South Bay does have 1 nurse per every 2 school sites.
I don't think we do.
I'm pretty sure we only have 3 total. But moving on.
Okay. In terms of San Isidro, they had 1 school nurse, but they had 3 LVNs. And then Chula Vista and Sweetwater also, just their sheer magnitude, right? Results in a higher level of need. So across those districts, we're seeing multiple or double-digit staffing in terms of credentialed school nurses. Chula Vista Elementary does have a formula that results in a recommended FTE per school site based off of those needs. Sweetwater, they have 1 registered credentialed school nurse per site.
Okay. This question is for Dr. Coppings or not? What are the numbers like for hiring credential nurses? Because they need to have multiple subject or a single subject credential or a teaching credential? Yes. What is that? Can you explain that difference? Or
they have to have a school nursing credential?
okay, does Rady's nurses have that as well?
Yes.
Okay.
They have it. It's hard to find.
Okay.
So our nurses don't get paid, I don't think, competitively if you worked in a hospital, for example. So sometimes it is hard to recruit. But some of our school nurses do have the ability to go work in a hospital too when they're off. So they can work both in a hospital or in a school district.
Thank you.
Dr. Brady? Just to clarify that if they do work in our school district, they get STRS benefits, which you wouldn't get that in the hospital.
So I just wanted to just comment. I know that a couple ideas have already come forward. Thank you, Trustee Sarmiento. And I know that we are trying to provide all the information we can, albeit a little piecemeal, trying to, word of mouth, trying to figure out what other districts are doing. It sounds like there might be some variance in what we're looking at here, but you can see that every model is a little bit different. So the numbers that we were showing you would be if we just replaced 1-for-1 Rady's to NSD, but there could be other options and maybe consulting with another person, an expert in the field, to kind of determine what our needs are before filling that, but also recognizing that our contract ends June 30th. I think this is where we want to have a more robust conversation, and we have this as your question.
So, given all this information, I'm gonna ask Dr. Folliot to guide us in this discussion.
I did have another question though. With you presenting the models for other districts, is it that some of them have vacancies? Is the problem that you see, or is it
I don't necessarily see it as a problem. As Dr. Pepin mentioned, it is hard to come by credentialed school nurses because not only do they have to be an RN, so that requires their own level of education and potentially a bachelor's, master's level RN. In addition to that, they need the credential to be able to work in schools. So it is hard to come by. When I was surveying the different districts, all of the districts that have an in-house, which is everyone except for us, they do rely on contracted staff to backfill for any of those vacancies.
so you don't see that being a problem to fill?
If we have the option of being able to contract out, we have more flexibility.
Okay, so when you say some of them are like at South Bay, there's 3, or 2, you said, but Michelle said there was 3. Is it because they choose to have those, or is it because they're hard to fill?
They are probably identifying it as hard to fill positions.
That's a shortage. So if there's a shortage,
Correct.
so that doesn't pose a problem? Is that not a problem?
So in and of itself, it's not a problem if we have the flexibility to contract for individual positions while the district is looking to hire.
So I guess my thing is like, for example, when we have a problem filling for subs, I would be leery to have the same problem with trying to find nurses. So if we go this route, would we have the same, would we run into the same problem?
Okay.
Or bus drivers?
We could potentially, yes.
So I just, so when we're comparing, I just want us to look at big picture, right?
Absolutely. And that is a very important consideration.
Because I mean, numbers and bodies, we have to take into consideration. So
Absolutely.
I just don't want us to run into where now we are competing with all of these districts for the same reason.
Yes.
So I just, we need to be fiscally responsible. We also need to be accountable to our children.
Absolutely.
Sorry. I'm not sure who was next, so Dr. Brady?
Yeah, just quickly, I did put this question out about vacancies to the superintendents. 3 superintendents responded. One is a high school district, said they don't have any vacancies. The 2 districts that are elementary only that are similar in size to us, one said they have a position posted right now and not a lot of applicants. And the other said, we have had to use an agency due to challenges hiring. So we do think the challenges hiring would be real. But I have an informal conversation with a nurse in Sweetwater, and they don't seem to have trouble. They have a nurse at every single school, and they don't seem to have trouble hiring. So I do think maybe looking at, because they have big caseloads and they pay more, maybe that factors into what our caseload is, if we go in this direction, what the caseload is, and the negotiated price.
So we have to be competitive, is what we're saying. Yeah. Okay. Dr. Kevin?
As far as substitutes are concerned, we have trouble filling the HR technician. They're called health technicians. At that level, getting substitutes for them, only because we don't have that job description. We train a clerical person, and Brady's helps train our clerical subs to be able to support when there's a need. We haven't had the need to, as far as the nursing coverage, they cover that piece. But the health technicians is the one we've tried to support with. The only issue is we don't have a health technician job description so that we can get subs for that position. Just wanted to clarify that.
I was thinking about like teacher subs. Like, you know how we have to compete for teacher subs. I don't want to be in the same boat as that. Right. So is it help? Okay. So. Having to move my things side to side. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
And I already messed this up.
So I do know that one of the things that we had happen down in South Bay was that we had, and this is why I'm saying 3. I know that we have at least 1 LVN because that LVN works at my site. But the 3 school nurses that I know of, a few years ago, we had, I think, 2 retirements, 1 moved. So we were looking for all 3 at the same time. So that was not, or at least within like the same tight time frame. And so that was actually a noticeable concern at that time because of looking for 3 at the same time. And I know another thing that, was done was the nurse's schedule, I believe, is a separate schedule for cost to, afraid to swear to it, okay? But I think that we have a separate nurse's schedule for
for salary, I think. But again, I would have to look because I can't swear to it. And if any of my people are from exec board are watching, I'm sorry. One of the benefits, straight up, and this is one of the things I know for our school nurses, that they have a regular day schedule. And that is one of the draws of being in school, is that your students arrive, you have a regular schedule, you have regular weekends. So it's like, that is a draw that you don't necessarily get if you are working clinics, hospitals, and all of that. So we need, it's not a matter of having to take anybody. There are people who want to be in these positions. That's why they pursue school nursing. And another thing that just honestly, I keep coming back to, and I will keep coming back to, is that these are union jobs that we have farmed out for 30 years. So we have, I'm not sure where LVN officially falls, and if that's a CSEA position or if it's an NCETA position. But those are at least 3 NCETA jobs, if not 4, and it's 10 or 11 CSEA jobs that are not in-house and are not our employees committed to our school district. I am not, please, if you're a Radies person listening to me right now, please do not hear me disrespecting you. But their priority is their employment at Radies, not their employment with us. And I have been told repeatedly that we are getting some responses from the Radies staff to our staff with, I won't do that. No, that can't happen. No, I'm not gonna do that. No, you can't have, I am at a loss for that. I don't have specifics on it. You would need to have a further conversation with NCTA exec board about that. But that is a concern of mine. If we can have care at comparable cost by our own, I do not know why we aren't doing it. I don't. And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. So.
Thank you for those comments. And like I said, I think this is a timely conversation. Thank you, Dr. Vargas, for all of the information and helping us gather all of that. It truly has been a collaborative effort. We have been, I think each of us, including Fiscal and Dr. Cochran's been engaged in trying to really understand what it is that Radies is proposing, and then really knowing that there is an interest in bringing it in-house to have our own people doing those positions. What would that look like? And so I think that the intent today, and like I said, because the contract is coming up, we are needing to have some direction so that we know how to plan for next steps. But these conversations are important that we're hearing. We heard a lot of pros right now as far as the regular day schedule for staff, them being our own, their ownership and investment in our community and in our schools. There's a lot of benefits that come from that. But I also hear some of the possible concerns. And some of that comes from staffing and making sure that we're providing the right care that we need with the expertise behind it for our students. So it really is kind of a decision point where we're needing to really look at. We wanted to share the information. I did want to ask if Dr. Cochran had anything else that we may have missed, or any points of clarity around the numbers, or if anybody has any specifics, because from what we looked at, it appeared like it was very comparable as far as the proposals.
Just a few points that I would make. One, it was a few board meetings ago that Trustee Sarmiento had made the comment that I believe is accurate. which was that over the years, Radies had presented a cost savings to the district by utilizing the contract. And I think that with the numbers that Dr. Vargas presented to the board about the current contract that we have even this year, you can see that the cost for us to do it on our own, as opposed to the cost to utilize Radies, at least in the past, Radies has presented a savings to the district, ran the program more cheaply than we could, right, with very highly qualified individuals. So that is a true statement. I would like to mention that in our discussions with Radies around possibilities, I note that Trustee Gates, you made a comment regarding how rigid the letter that you received and are reviewing felt. And we have learned that there is some wiggle room in our talks with them, and we're engaged in those talks on an ongoing basis, without having made any decision for next year, which is part of the reason that we're having this discussion tonight and hearing from the Board of Trustees tonight. The other final thing that I would just point out is that their new program, right, somewhere between a 1.3 million, 1.9 million is kind of where we know that would land from Radies. We don't know exactly where it would land. And you saw as well from the district side, if we were to run a similar program ourselves, it would cost about the same 1.3 million to 1.9 million. 1.8 million, I think. I would just say that that's a takeaway for the board, is that it did used to be less expensive. It presented cost savings to the district in past years. And with just where we are now, this updated pricing, we're not exactly sure where our program expense would land because of the variability in steps. We're not exactly sure where their program would land for the upcoming year because of the ongoing discussion that we're having with them. But for you to see that it's similar, I think that is the only takeaway that I would emphasize. Thanks.
Ms. Lopez? For the manager position for the program, if it was brought in-house, would this also be part of collective bargaining, or would this be different? Will it be different?
It would be a coordinator, yes. So it would be a management position.
Okay.
Accompanying the cost discussion, if they just received direction that they can do a 2/3 increase, how often does that happen? Because if we are in-house, that is union negotiation. And though every single member of our unions would love a 2/3 increase, the 2/3 increase for Radies is, you said it's mandated, correct? There's not a choice on that.
Trustee Gates, I'm so sorry. Can you help me understand the 2/3?
66, what was the number?
The increase in rate. Okay, yes.
61 to 110, that's a $49 increase, that's 2/3 of the original cost. So that's what I'm talking about, roughly 2/3 increase.
Mm-hmm. My understanding is that minimum wage for healthcare workers has increased to $25 an hour. Is that accurate?
I would need to confirm that.
And then, well, that is what Ms. Palmore told us, that was coming. That's a new law for that. Kind of like when McDonald's went up, the healthcare workers said, well, everybody's going to work at McDonald's. It's $20. So healthcare workers, to prioritize them, got a mandated legal minimum wage in California. They also have their own collective bargaining through Radies as well. And so some of that may be what you're seeing in those rates, and we have to adhere to those contracts. I'm not sure what all of the increase of costs are, but I did want to, before we get too deep into that, I wanted to address your question of why we have done this for so long. And I'll rely on Trustee Sarmiento because she's been here since the beginning.
My hysterical knowledge.
hysterical melody, and Trustee Betancourt Castañeda also, that you're not the first trustee to ask that question, or the first superintendent / executive cabinet to also ask that question, because it is very unique, and I think it's the only one in the state of California. We looked at this back in 2017. We had multiple days of a collaborative discussion. I believe PJ Whitney was leading that. We had people from across the community come together and talk about what were the needs. It was very similar to what we're seeing right now in the movement toward community schools. And partners like Samahan, San Ysidro Health, Rady Children's Hospital, all were in the room at the table talking about the health needs of the community of National City. And what Rady's brought to us through some of that grant funding and some of the underwriting of the cost was medically trained professionals backed by a hospital, getting scripts written by doctors, medical coordinators. So whereas in some school districts, the families can subsidize some of that healthcare, right? They're taking their children for regular health checkups. Where we saw greater need, the need for medically trained professionals came out of those conversations. And that's how it originated. Then we had another conversation somewhere around 2020, right? Maybe either right before COVID or right after COVID. And Barbara Ryan came, talked about the history, talked about the program. And we were seeing some benefits such as one site. They were really helping to get our kids connected with glasses. And of course, that program was sunset because the doctors had to be trained in California, but one site had doctors trained from around the world. So they really weren't allowed to do that program anymore. Rady's also helped with COVID protocols. So that was advantageous that we had it, but not a time to move away from the model at that time. And then they helped us with the big project data movement. But with the emergence of community schools and the ability to bring these partners through the community schools movement back into our collaborative efforts, our families will have that access, and it might be the right time to move in-house for this, for these services, knowing that we had that backup that we had through Rady's in a different way, but through community schools. And we have now the staff that can help make those and keep those connections for our families. So I know that with our federal schools, community schools grant, we actually had a clinic on campus at Central School to help our families with some of those health needs. And so I think it's that balancing. I don't think it was ever intended to take work away from our in-house staff. I think it was always, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, because you've been here the whole time just following that journey. We have tried to have this conversation many times during my 10 years here, but there's always been some direct needs that Rady's has met that we hadn't been able to do in-house. And I think now is a good time to have that conversation again. And so that's why we're talking about it tonight.
So I appreciate that. And I appreciate the reminder that we are gaining and better ties with our community for those things, with the San Ysidro Health, our Family Resource Center continues to try to make those connections and ties. And we have others, as Samahan you mentioned, we do have those others. Because if we are moving to this, we are looking at equivalent medically trained professionals. Our nurses being here, the school nurses, they will be required to keep up certifications. It is part of the job. And so what we are looking at is essentially that's what we have in front of us for tonight's example. I'll put it that way, is practically a one-to-one correspondence. My point earlier was if it is out of our, like, if we are working with another group, those changes, whether they are a minimum wage change, out of our hands. Their union votes and changes, and I absolutely respect that. Please hear me say I respect that. But their union decision is out of our hands. So we have a number of things that when it comes to cost will consistently be out of our hands. And we just have to say, okay, when that happens. And so that is part of my concern as well, having it out of house is like, because I have plenty of people who are friends and dear to me who are nurses or pursuing nursing degrees. I want them to be paid well and get the respect that that job deserves through pay and through everything else they fight for in their unions. But at the same time, we can't afford a 2/3 turnaround increase in minimum wage and union raise when somebody else makes that decision. We can't. I don't know how often that happens, so I concede that fully. But we can't afford that too. So when we are looking at some of these things, I'm struggling with it. And that's another issue for me.
I think on the next slide, we have some.
Okay, Dr. Keppen, and then Ms. Sarmiento, and then Ms. Gomez.
I know that, and I don't know if this is still the case, but I know that I was told by the ratings coordinator that some of their staff were being lost to our district for positions. So I don't know that their health technicians belong to a union, because she said that they eventually started giving the same % raise as the district to be competitive so that they could maintain their staffing. Because they would apply to, let's say, an office tech position in our district. So I don't know, I think it's $24 an hour for healthcare workers starting July 1, 2025. So I think this might be legislative related. And then after that, in the past, and I'm only talking about the technicians, that they would get, if we got a 0.75 or 1.75, they would give that as well to their staff.
Yes, I would like to suggest that maybe take it to CSBA, ask them what other school districts throughout the state are doing. Obviously not nationwide, because each individual state has their own laws and regulations. But I'm curious to know, how are other districts handling this? I would think that they would need to have healthcare in their schools, and how are they dealing with it?
And that was the question was, I posed the question, and this is part of the slide, was how were districts handling their aides, their nurses. And that was why the research was done for our slides.
So here you go.
Yeah, so I just took it to our local level. I can bring it to our region, but to see kind of what more.
Because there's got to be something that other districts are doing that we aren't aware of that could be helpful. Just a thought.
Well, I will definitely ask that question.
Thank you.
Ms. Lopez? Oh,
Yes.
yes, I will speak.
Yes, I want to echo my colleague's sentiments in regards to having these conversations soon with our labor partners in regards to what would it look like to bring it in-house. And I'm also wondering, Dr. Cochran, if this is in time for us to approve for the next budget deadline. Would we be able to have something come to us by next month?
I think that, frankly, that because so much of this agreement is discussed, sorted, and managed by educational services, I think they may be the best team member to answer that question.
The first step really is to, after we discuss this, is creating job descriptions. And that takes time. And as you know, is we negotiate the job description and then we bring it for approval and then we post. So you'd have to kind of look at how many board meetings are left to have that happen.
So with that being said, and we have a timeline of the contract ends on 6/26, the month of, of this year, next month, we have to sign a new contract. We're binding ourselves to a whole nother year. Right?
Yes. So I think that perhaps it's a good time to, I've been taking copious notes but really it's about being able to receive clear direction on next steps. Some of the ideas though, because it sounds like there's a high interest in us really exploring the idea of moving away from Rades and bringing it in-house. And as we know, and what was shared is that it will take some time and some steps that we would need to do. I think some of the conversations that we're having with Rades would be to include some type of transition time, some type of maybe for whether it's from here to January or from here until fall break, something where we can have a little bit of overlap where we can really have the time to do some of those steps. The other component that I would want for us to maybe discuss and consider as well, in order to make that transition, we would really want to be looking at that coordinator position to kind of help us do two things. One is to really audit kind of what are the needs, what are the services and what are the needs, and to be able to share some proposals on what should the staffing really look like. And then in addition to that is really to help us kind of be that architect to help us design what our program could be. As we saw from the other examples, even from local neighboring districts, there are other models out there, and even trying to get some of the information like you had suggested around trying to see how are other districts handling it, so that we could take all of that information and really be thoughtful about any type of actual program that we're going to bring in-house. So I think that what we would advise or would want to be able to give is that time to be able to plan it and to plan it well. And so for this particular slide, it was really kind of looking at kind of a clear direction, which I'm feeling like we're kind of all leaning towards looking at that transition. With that, our next steps then would be to be able to develop a timeline, but really trying to make sure that we have some type of person who has the expertise, that coordinator position, who can help us in auditing the needs and then helping design a new model of service for NSD.
This is not giving us a lot of time based on this letter. Yeah, I mean,
correct.
We based April 13th and the contract ends on the 30th. So I mean, I don't know if this is an intentional thing or not, but it's just not giving us a lot of time for us to make any movement.
Yes, so I'll let Dr. Cochran, who actually spoke directly to Rades about some of that.
Yes, so I think one of the things was knowing that this was a presentation that had been requested, knowing that this is a current hot topic, and that there were going to be, many thoughts from the Board of Trustees on information that is new, even since this letter, the proposals that we've shared with you tonight and the high range, low range, this is ongoing and evolving work that we're currently doing and currently in talks with them. I don't want to give you the impression that we're going to walk away from tonight and nothing will happen and then June 30th will arrive. That's certainly not the case, right? But I do want you to know that I think what would be best is, with this being a concern and time being of the essence, it would probably be best for us to continue our dialogue with Rades and then to share with the board in a board update a little bit more information as that continues to develop.
So I have a clarification. You had said that we are the only district in the state who does something like this. So I would assume that pretty much everybody else has their in-house nurses. Yeah. So, and as far as the finances go, we already have an allotment for medical care and medical provision. It is simply who that will be paid to. So it is not as if it's not in our budget. It's just not necessarily named, like right now it has a Rady's name on it, but it could end up having 13 individuals' names on it. So
With the caveat that it's going up significantly,
Yes.
$700,000.
Yeah.
So we don't have necessarily that budgeted.
True, but we know that one way or another, if we are going to move forward, we have a medical allotment that we are going to have for next year. It's just who it's getting paid to.
Trustee Gates, I think that's an excellent point, which is exactly what will our model look like? I know we've, quoted a potential model this evening and provided some cost information. I think the feedback from the board tonight was very important. I think it is, based on, feedback that we're receiving tonight, we're going to continue to do a little bit more work, both in terms of continuing our talk with Rady's, because of course, how quickly we can execute something, that is a component of this. You're correct. We weren't given that much time, that much notice from Rady's certainly, and we've shared with them that we believe that we were notified later than would be needed for us to, for example, develop our own program for next year. But I also think that just because we've simply presented one potential view of how our program could look, depending on what our intent was with either maintaining past costs or things like that, there may be other models that we could potentially develop as well. And I think those types of conversations are up for consideration as well. But I think that the feedback from the board tonight, especially with the request for a presentation like this, was a piece of what we were, waiting for as this develops.
Because I am not interested in doing this badly. As far as the transition goes. And we know that rushing to get something done usually means that you have missed something major along the way. But I'm also not interested in turning around and having this be the same conversation we have again at this time next year, and then have the same conversation of, well, we don't have time because it ends in June. Like, we could get into that cycle every year. And that would be laziness on our part. So yes, we do need to have, like, if we're having this conversation, if you're having the conversation with Rady's, and granted, I know that we have not taken a vote, but I would think that conversation needs to include just like specifically what would a fall or winter break transition look like, so that we could be on point with what our intention is if that is the decision that we make to move forward. I don't want to rush and hurt our kids and have it come across that we did not think things through. So I am happy to make sure we have the time to do it right. And that includes where are the conversations with NCETA and CSEA, because we're also going from zero to $1.8 million change that is reflected in people and in contract and in relationship and in the way we honor honor those partnerships. And so I want to make sure that we do that right as well and allow them also time to think and process and have the conversations to say what it means. So all of that.
I would also like to see perhaps the removal of the coordinator role. I personally think that we have too many coordinators in our district office. So adding another one to our budget, if there is no need of no other models, are doing it. I think what Trustee Sarmiento mentioned, maybe having a one-time person consultant come in and tell us if really what model we need. But I think overall, I don't see the benefit of having a coordinator manage these other are certified and classified. I think perhaps we need to also restructure and look at who is in our district office and maybe who can take that on. If there is a need to supervise and manage these people, who would be able to do that already is in-house.
I would have to say, I would have to disagree with that because being that we're in the education world, when we have somebody who is in the medical field, that's not our line of expertise. And if I brought my children to school here, and I'm asking somebody to perform medical duties, I wouldn't feel comfortable somebody overseeing somebody in the medical field and not really being supervised by somebody who was the line of expertise in the medical field. So I think we need to have somebody who has who can supervise them that has that more expertise in the medical field. So not having that supervision, taking that component out is setting ourselves up for some liability. And I think we need to have somebody who has more expertise in that position. So I think we would really, we're putting ourselves up in for liability, is my opinion.
I want to see the comparison.
And just to add to that, California Ed Code requires that any health services be supervised by a healthcare professional. So currently, unless somebody's a medical doctor or an RN and we don't know about that, they wouldn't be able to supervise. And so our current administrators supervise administrative work. We would need somebody with a medical degree and licensing to supervise the medical staff.
This may or may not be a dumb idea, but I was just thinking, what if we were to advertise for school nurses, like in the next week or so, see what kind of interest it generates. If none, then okay, nothing lost. But if we do get a nice pool of people, maybe people who want to get out of the hospital setting or something that requires, demands a lot of hours and doesn't pay as much. Well, they don't do, but anyways, just to see what's out there. And then if we have an answer before our contract is done with Radies, then there's our answer. Just a thought.
I think that's a good idea, but I wouldn't have a job description to post.
Well, then make one.
It's also graduation season. Okay, who needs a job?
Yeah, okay. That's great.
Yes, and that is a great idea. And I do think when we are done negotiating those job descriptions, it'd be great to advertise and see what kind of interest we could get. Of course, we definitely want to work with Radies. They, in their letter, they said that they're submitting the letter of intent early to give us adequate time to review our options. So I think from the initial conversations, they are open to trying to help us through whatever transition we decide we need to do. So hopefully, getting a timeline together, what we think would be reasonable. Maybe they would be willing for us to sign a contract just through that amount of time. And then we would be able to present that to the board sooner than later, so the board would feel confident that it's moving and it's not gonna happen that we're locked into a contract until this time next year. The other thing is if Brady's is not amenable to that, there are other agencies like Swing. When we don't have enough substitutes and we must get our classrooms covered, you can then contract out to a place like Swing that has substitutes. Not our first choice, right? In-house substitutes, first choice. Swing, second choice. So there are also agencies such as these, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Kevin, that we could go to and we could potentially hire exactly what we have through Radies, but through a different agency for that short timeline so that our schools, our district wouldn't be at a loss. They probably wouldn't really notice other than the people that they have grown to love over the years would be different, but they would have the same level of service during the transition. But again, that person to supervise them would need to be in place. And in our recent transition to 2 of our coordinators becoming principals, we do happen to have 1 vacancy in our current educational services administrative team. So we are down 1 coordinator, that is a vacancy. We are always looking to not fill vacancies, yes, Dr. Cochran, but in this need, it would not be an addition to what we've been paying to date. In fact, it would be a cost savings because we are also paying the Radies coordinator. So when the Radies coordinator would sunset, that would be a cost savings of that salary, and we would only have this 1 coordinator filling the vacancy for the short term of the transition. But I know that's a concern, so just know that that eventually would still result in 1 less coordinator eventually when this is all said and done. So that does help that push and that desire to reduce.
We also have to keep in mind the concerns of our kids' safety too. Yeah, legally, but also the safety of our children always have to be in the forefront. Okay, do we have any additional questions?
Yes, so again, really grateful for the conversation. I think where we are, I believe that we all agree then that we want to go with the transition to really explore that option and come back with more updates and information with that. Again, to be able to move forward, knowing that if we're moving in that direction, we would need to have some type of health manager to be able to help us with the audit, help us with designing that program. That is something that we'll bring back then for the next board meeting to be able to, a job description for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
Item 11B is to approve CT 4373 with immersive reality classroom. Dr. Filio? With exhibit C.
Yes, so we have been sharing some information in the board memo regarding this initiative, and what we are looking to do is we're excited to bring this forward as an opportunity for the district and for our students. This contract authorizes the installation of an immersive reality classroom at the Central School property. And the idea there is this would be the first immersive learning environment of its kind in California. This innovative interactive space would really, it transforms your traditional lessons into these shared experiences. It really allows students to visually explore curriculum and content through the environment, really providing them with quite a unique tool, kind of with that discovery-based type of learning. So the project will be covered entirely by a donation from the Classroom for the Future Foundation. We have a grant that is specifically tied to Central, which is why that is the location that we were looking at, apart from them having some space. But there is grant funding that is tied to Central that can allow for that to happen. And then, of course, other restricted sources. And so really by securing this technology through these community partnerships, the district is also being cognizant of the costs. And so we're hoping, again, that we would have approval for this project.
Second. Motion by Ms. Sarmiento, second by Ms. Gates. Do we have any discussion? Ms. Lopez?
Yes, I have a question. Given that this is, if I'm picturing it, no pun intended, correctly, walking in, there's gonna be lights everywhere, probably some flashing. Will this be accessible for our students on, with visual and comparable needs in the caseload?
Absolutely. And so in fact, we believe that it would be quite beneficial as a tool for our students that are in special education because of the fact that they're able to access and kind of experience the content and curriculum in different ways. So it's not like a given set program. We have a menu of programs to be able to select from. And so of course we'd be working with the different teams. Once we're able to launch this, then we'd be working with our different grade levels, looking at specific content areas, and specifically with our special education teachers to really look at how we could support our students with that too.
Dr. Brady? Think of the magic school bus. And if you wanted to explore the digestive system, you walk into the room and you can go all the way through, but instead of wearing the goggles, you are just in the esophagus all the way through the stomach and to the very end. So,
Let's try another visual.
okay, if you're in a wheelchair and you are unable to go on a roller coaster, you could ride a roller coaster in this room. So it's a sensory room, but fully immersive. So it is absolutely designed for students with special needs, cognizant of those flashing lights as well. But again, it's like VR, but with no goggles and just being inside of a learning space, and everywhere from a location to locations you wouldn't think of as traditional vacation spots. Is that better? Okay, and experiences.
I'm not sure this is part of the cost, but I would like to see some dedicated headphones for those students who may need it because it will be overwhelming. I think I'm already overwhelmed thinking about it, so I think having that is designated for that room.
One question I have is, do we plan to expand the program outside of our school?
Being that it's such a unique experience, it certainly has the potential to be able to offer it to not only other of our own schools that could be bused there to have the experience, but we could even explore the potential of offering it to other districts who, for a small fee, perhaps could be able to come over and engage in that experience as well.
We have a motion by Ms. Sarmiento and a second by Ms. Gates. Did you have your? Yes, I turned and then I apologize.
If it's okay. I'm assuming there will be training costs associated with this. Is that covered in this? Because I mean, I don't know what it means to have an interactive space. Like, is it projector on the walls? Is it, so that you, is it something that you just type a little bit into? Do teachers need to know, like, so what goes with it, as far as equipment needs and training needs? Thank you.
Thanks, Trustee Gates. A couple weeks back, we included in a board update a YouTube video that shows the room and some information about it. And I'll make sure to do that again in this upcoming board update in case anyone happened to miss it. And sometimes that happens. To your question about training, it is a projector that hangs from the ceiling and projects on all four walls so that the experience is immersive, as well as the floor. And it does have some proprietary technology. So when something appears on the walls and a student taps it, it then opens up a bunch of curricular content, and it has thousands and thousands of curricular rooms, if you will, that are all played by by that projector that hangs from the ceiling. So I think there's two components to that. When you talk about the technological aspect of that, immersive reality, the company, their representatives, they will come out. In fact, they've already been out looking at the feasibility of installing this in our classrooms. So from making sure that the technology works and that the room is set up and they provide advice along the way, all of that will be handled with immersive reality. I think a second component of the training is not making the room run, so to speak, but how do we use that to engage students in content? And so that component of what can you do with the room and what type of a lesson could you run and what would that look like, that component will not be immersive reality. That would be in-house. That would be us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any more questions? We have a motion by Ms. Sarmiento and a second by Ms. Gates. Please vote.
Madam President,
Yes, thank you. Item 11C was pulled. Item 12A is to approve declaration of need for fully qualified educators.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Ms. Gates and a second by Ms. Lopez. Any discussion? Please vote.
Can you reset, please? Thanks.
Madam President,
Thank you. Item 13A is to approve CT 4371 for an energy service agreement with Plankton Energy LLC. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Sarmiento, a second by Ms. Lopez. Any discussion? Okay, please vote. Thank you. Item 13B is to approve resolution 25-26.44, authorizing the withdrawal from relief and PIPS JPAs and authorizing membership in the San Diego County Schools Risk Management JPA. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Sarmiento and a second by Ms. Lopez. Any discussion? Please vote.
Madam President,
Thank you. Item 13C is to authorize advertisement for intercom and clock installation in all classrooms. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Gates and a second by Ms. Lopez. Do we have any discussion? Please vote.
Madam President,
Thank you. Yep. Ms. Gates?
Okay, I have a list. First of all, thank you very much for taking the time and pursuing the medical discussion for us. And thank you for the attention to detail with regard to the questions that we asked of you. I saw in our weekly update the facilities use the facilities use fields piece that we're the trial that we are looking at for one of our school sites to see if we can figure out how to make the field available fields available to the community. And so I do want to say thank you for trying to move forward with that with soccer. Yes, soccer. I read this. I had to remember, and yes, sometimes the rememberer is not always. But I'm eager to hear how this goes because I truly am hoping that we will be able to find a way to make our resources more available to the community, give our kids more access to yeah. I'm just hopeful. So thank you for that. I want to thank Ira Harbison at Las Palmas School. I had people from both sites invite me to family nights. Got to go to those. Goodness, is it 2 Thursdays ago now? I think, but it was very fun to see the parents and families and community and students and staff who were there for those events. Some of the community school partners who were present at those places. It was good to be invited, but it was also good to go and see what's happening at our school sites there. We had the Community Schools Summit 2 Wednesdays ago down at Imperial Beach Charter School. So it was that was also a good opportunity. We had a solid representation from our district. They had to give us 4 different sets of tables to meet our needs of representation. And some of the discussion that we got to have was targeted specifically on our assets and strengths as a community, and then challenges and possibilities. And the discussion continued with where do those overlap? Where could we be using what we have to strengthen, and being reminded once again of how very cool National City was a beautiful thing. And everything from acknowledging the strength of our multi-generational family around the district to even down to our many small long-term family-owned taco shops. We talked about all kinds of beautiful things that are happening in National City, not just the school district, but who we are as a community. And that, like, I'll just say, if we would have been in church, there would have been shouting on that one because it was good. So thank you for that, Dr. Filio, to you and your team. Thank you for the LCAP meeting that you led for us. It was very informational. It's good to see how we're growing, where our sights are set, where our hopes are, what we're meeting, what our challenges are, so that we can focus in. And I know that takes a substantial effort, but it's also just a beautiful time to meet and speak to others about what's going on in the district. I also saw review of digital program usage is taking place, and I want to thank you to the team. Give a thank you to the team who discussed that, to NCTA who was part of that discussion, so that we could narrow the list of our data programs that we are actually using, and if it was appropriate to reduce or increase, I'm assuming if it was appropriate, then the licenses that we have to meet the needs of our students while still being attentive to our budget. So thank you for all of that. And then personally, Michaela graduated Saturday from Point Loma Nazarene University. So we add another Las Palmas National School District alumnus to good things happening in their future. I have to say though, Sunday was Michaela's graduation party, and it started with Elsa Davalos coming over to the house because she could not be there for Michaela's graduation party. But she came at 9 in the morning to make sure to be present and honor Michaela. And she was the supervisor who so often, and I'm still sorry, Mrs. Davalos, who so often was stuck with Michaela when I couldn't be there on time to pick that poor child up. And I would get my phone calls from Mrs. Davalos's phone. Mommy, you're not here yet. She was the first person to honor Michaela on Sunday. And one of the last people was Angelica Benitez, who was Michaela's second grade teacher. And so I just am, since I do get to do the board communication thing, thankful for National School District and the role that so many people have played in the lives of my children. And so, thank you to the many.
I want to say happy birthday, Trustee Sarmiento, and happy B-Day to Dr. Brady as well. Hope you both enjoy your special day, and grateful for your lives and for all that you've continued to contribute to our district and just for being you. And also want to say happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms here and the moms in our district. And wanted to thank staff again for the really amazing community 5K that we had this past Saturday. It was really great to see a lot of runners, a lot of walkers, but a lot of people full of joy to be there. And thank you again to everyone who went to the LPAC and just talked about data. It was really nice to just hear that feedback as well. And thank you to our presenters, to all of the students. Congrats again to Rosa Bautista, and thank you for your service, Ms. Summer Fizzle. And again, congrats to Dr. Filia on coming on board to another role, just moving down the aisle next to us. And want to say also congrats to the graduates past weekend and future. Thank you.
Thank you. Probably being third is they always say what I was gonna say, but I concur with the sentiments that were shared, and thank you for the birthday wishes. I'm still celebrating, so it hasn't ended yet. But appreciated the LCAP presentation. I know a lot of work went into that, and it was much appreciated. I sat with a group from Pomeroy School, and it was funny. One of the parents I sat next to, she was very animated, and she kept me entertained the entire time. So it was a very educational experience as well as entertaining. And also, sorry I couldn't make it to the 5K run Saturday morning. I did get my T-shirt. I want to thank those that sent the T-shirt and thought of me. And it fit too, and just sorry I wasn't able to make it, but I wore my T-shirt all day that day. That's all I have.
Dr. Cochran?
Thank you. First, I would just like to say that today, May 13th, is our Staff Appreciation Day. And I want to thank all of our classified partners, all of our certificated partners, and managers as well, for all of the work that we do, that they do tirelessly. I feel so grateful that in education we get to say that we work for kids, we get to say that we work for each other, and we get to say that we work for this great community. So happy Staff Appreciation Day to everyone. I want to say, Trustee Sarmiento, we often celebrate birthdays, but rarely is it on the exact day with an intermission of fanfare and balloons and all kinds of things. So happy birthday to you today. And also I wanted to say that I too enjoyed what was a really great time at the NSD 5K fun run. It was great to see so many of our trustees there at the finish line, welcoming and congratulating runners as they crossed the finish line. It was great to see so many staff who were working, setting up the event, attending the event, running in the event. Being that this is my first year to national school district, it was really something special, and I'm looking forward to next year. Thank you.
Dr. Kemper?
I too want to say happy birthday to Trustee Sarmiento and Dr. Brady. I want to congratulate Dr. Filia and Mr. Barriga and welcome him to NSD. Thank you to the Olivewood students. También quiero dar las gracias a la señora Bautista que estaba aquí esta noche. Muchísimas gracias por todo lo que haces para la comunidad de Olivewood. Gracias. Summer Bizzle, you're going to be missed. Thank you for your years of service here. I believe she's moving to Texas, and I'm sure they're going to be very lucky to have her with her new role that she's looking at over there. So thank you for your years of service to NSD. I want to say thank you to Dr. Cochran because for 4 years I've been trying to move us to the JPA, and he made it happen tonight. And with your vote, we are able to get the service and delivery of services that we truly deserve as a district. So I appreciate that, Dr. Cochran. Thank you. And just a reminder that next week we have a special board meeting on May 20th. We're going to be celebrating our years of service, our Teacher of the Year, Classified Employee of the Year, and all of our retirees. And we have 25 on the list of retirees, so it'll be fun. That's it.
Thank you. Dr. Filia?
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to say happy birthday again. Well wishes to Trustee Sarmiento. I'd like to thank the board once again, just to again say thank you for your vote of confidence this evening, and I'm really looking forward to our continued work together. I do have just some highlights. We, as you know, and as we've discussed this evening, we mentioned community schools, and really we had a total of 9 of our schools who are participating and recipients of community school grant funding. And so 7 are participating with the state grant, and then we had 2 that are part of the federal grant. And in our ongoing conversations with National University, they actually are managing that federal grant for us. We have often been advocating for our other school who was kind of not part of it, and they have agreed now officially to bring on John Otis as the final school. And so now all 10 of our schools are community schools, which is really wonderful to see that work unfold. So we're excited about that. Also, just a couple other announcements for good news on our consent agenda this evening. We just wanted to highlight and say thank you. NSD is the recipient of an early literacy grant from the Dr. Seuss Foundation and the San Diego Foundation for $60,000, and that funding will be used for our preschool through kindergarten classrooms to receive free books for families to foster those kind of reading events. So I think that's going to be a wonderful addition. And then finally, also on the consent agenda was we've secured an agreement with Vision to Learn. And so that is another program who will deploy their mobile vision clinic for next year, where they'll be able to offer the eye exams as well as the prescription glasses for students in need. So we're excited to be able to sign on with them for next school year. Thank you.
Dr. Brady?
Yes, first I want to say happy birthday to Alma. It's been fun sharing our birthdays together every single year. My birthday's a day before yours, so does that make me older?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take the numbers. Okay, just drop them off. Okay. I do want to say also just congratulations to Dr. Filia. It's official now. So I'll start that to-do list for you on that transition.
All the things I didn't
to do.
Starting with the Friday memo. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. A minute to the end. But no, I look forward to helping with that transition in the last few weeks here as well. So for Trustee Sarmiento, you mentioned you got your shirt. I don't know if you ever got your hat. I think we have your hat here tonight. So for your birthday, you'll have to wear it while we have cake. While we light the candles. Right? Yesterday, I just wanted to remind the board that yesterday, PBS, the network, came out to Palmer Way School, and just thank you to Leticia Segura again for opening up her school and just being such a gracious host, to David Castillo and Rick Miller and their teams for making the school just shine, and to the students, including Mason, who made an appearance here tonight, who was filmed for the PBS episode.
He wants to know when it's going to air.
We're not sure, but we will keep you posted. They did film for about 5 hours, and they said that it will be about 5 minutes. We had the Tony Thurman's Deputy Superintendent of Public Instruction, Abel Guillen, fly down from Sacramento for yesterday, was interviewed and said just amazing, wonderful things about our school district, the things that we've been able to achieve, and just wanting to see these things replicated throughout the state. So it was a proud moment on the heels of the CBS 8, Earth 8 segment that came out on, I believe that was on Tuesday night, and in the paper, in the clips on Wednesday. So we'll put that link for you in this week's update. But one of our student roundtables, Andre Espinosa from Central Elementary School, was highlighted, and he just did an outstanding job. And so again, it was a real proud moment for our district. And then I will say that today I received an email from the U.S. Green Building Council, and their director from the Center for Green Schools for the United States will be putting together an article later this summer celebrating all the honorees from around the country for their green efforts, and will be highlighting National School District in that publication. So we'll be filling that out, and we'll be receiving, even though the U.S. Department of Education has sunset the program, the U.S. Green Building Council is still recognizing honorees from around the country. So that's pretty exciting. I want to say special thanks to Tom Davis. He is a National City alumni. He grew up here in Barbara's neighborhood. I'll tell you, he had cousins. He was the Barajas family. And he does a lot to champion efforts. So he was instrumental in bringing the immersive classroom in front of National City. And he said, I want our kids to have it first. So thank you to our staff, Dr. Cochran, Dr. Filia, Dr. Kevin, who were very open to meeting with Tom and just figuring out a way to get that. And thank you to the board for voting to allow us to install it first of its kind here in California. Maybe, I think, in the United States. I think the only one that they have right now is in Europe, in England. So I will get that for you. But do you remember?
I do. We would be the first in California. There are not many in the United States. However, they are, it's multi-continental. So there are many in Europe, and England, of course, is the home base. And so there's many there. There's several in the Middle East. There's quite a few internationally, but new to the US, and we would be the first in California.
All right, first in California, but still pretty exciting that we have that opportunity. And due to one of our own community members, he went to Kimball Elementary. He would want you to know. And also, speaking of our community members, I want to say condolences to Herman Baca. He did lose his wife this week, and our thoughts and prayers are with him. Their friend Grace, I apologize, I don't have her last name in front of me right now, has been collecting some cultural Mexican muñecas, some dolls, And she has donated her entire collection to the National School District. So we received those yesterday, and we will be distributing them through our library system. And we'll bring that for the board to approve as an official donation, but something really special from the community representative of our culture for our kids to continue the tradition and learn from them. We're grateful for that. So thank you. Thank you. My condolences to the Blanca family. Well, I would like to welcome Mr. Barriga to the NSD family. I'd like to thank the students from Olivewood for their presentation and the job well done. Also, congratulations to Rosa Bautista and also Summer Bissell, and we will definitely be missing her. Hopefully when she is in town, she will come visit us. I can't say she to come sub because it's a definite commute for her. Let's see, I have one on this, I'm sorry, guys. Happy Mother's Day to everyone, and especially to my mommy, which she is on her way here from Oklahoma. So I will see her soon, and her birthday is tomorrow. So I get to see her for her birthday, and happy belated birthday to Dr. Brady, and happy birthday to you, Ms. Sarmiento, and a special birthday to my son, my favorite oldest son. I don't have favorite children, so I have to say oldest. Otherwise I get in big trouble. But his birthday was on Monday, so it's like Christmas in May for us. He turned 26 today. Or Monday, sorry. Did you believe that mistake? I know, right? Wanted to thank everybody that had their hand in the 5K. Like Ms. Lopez said, it was a lot of smiling faces, even though they had to either run, walk, or what have you on the either a 1 mile or 5K, and yet they were still smiling afterwards. Imagine that. But it was a very good turnout, and they've done an amazing job from the beginning of its inception to how it is today. Thank you to all of the Olivewood staff that had the paint and pizza. I am creative, but not when it comes to painting, so I did not partake in it, but it was a good turnout. And a lot of families got to partake and participate with their children, and that's not always something that they have an opportunity to do because sometimes it's a little expensive to go to somewhere and pay for something like that. And thank you for Mr. Faulkner to have that at school, and it's a good opportunity for families. Thank you for Central to allowing us, Dr. Brady, Dr. Phil, for joining me to doing a quick visit. And we also got treated by some poetry at one of the school classrooms. It was a nice visit. Let's see, go down my list. Let's see. Thank you, Dr. Vargas, for your presentation here tonight. I know we had you up there for quite a while, but thank you for all of the answers to all of our questions and everybody who was answering our questions. Congratulations, Dr. Filial, for your newly appointed position. Yet I also was able to participate in the Community School Summit. Dying, but I was still there, and a lot of good discussion, and also the LCAP meeting. Thank you. I know that it is a lot of preparation, but thank you for your team for all of that, and thank you to all of our staff on Staff Appreciation Day. I know we have an amazing district, so thank you to everyone. Let's see. I actually saw the news yesterday in the morning. It was News 8 on the clip that you were referring to. I recorded the whole thing so I could share that if you need it. If you don't, I don't know if we get a link or not, but okay. And I wanted to say thank you to everyone that
voted for my reelection to Delegate Assembly. I will be there this weekend. I will only be able to participate one day because I will be attending my son's graduation on Sunday, a product of the National School District. I will have to say I'm very proud of him. My son Ernie, he is graduating from San Diego State. He has been on the deep list pretty much the entire time, and he's nominated for Student of the Year for his program. Although he didn't get awarded it, but he was nominated, and only 5 students in his program were actually able to be nominated, and he is one of those 5 in his whole entire program. So yes, I'm gloating about my child, but I have to say my favorite second child. But to say he is a product of the National School District, that goes to show what amazing teachers we have and staff. That's not just me, I'm saying the staff. That's the quality that we have in our district. So I want to say thank you for everybody who has, again, provided the support and education of our district. So thank you, because it's a team. It takes a village to raise a child. So thank you so much, because we do this together. So with that being said, I think I got everything. Oh, before I do, I wanted to say thank you again, Olivewood, and I was able to be a part of the colloquium. We have amazing teachers. It was, wow. I was able to be a part of the special education 1 and 2 years. I think it was staff teachers coming in. I was blown away. So we have definitely group of 1 and 2 years teachers in our district. So, but with that being said, we have to reconvene back into closed session. Sorry, Alma. And we do have cake for the 2 of you. So it's not cake, it's real bread. But with that being said, we're going back into closed session. We're not.